Hello, everybody. Welcome to Classy and Sassy, where we're celebrating women one conversation at a time. And I am so happy to have Amanda Sage from Tampa Auto Wraps. Stay tuned. We're going to have a great show.
Welcome to Classy and Sassy with your host, Yvette Beamer. Yvette is dedicated to her faith, family, friends, and women from all generations while giving back to the community in various ways. I am blessed to have you in my audience and hope you enjoy the show.
Amanda, how in the world, Tampa Auto Wraps? So obviously you're working around cars. You tell me how you got there. You're the office manager over at Tampa Auto Wraps. Tell me about that.
So I'm the office manager and the designer.
Oh.
So I help them design what they want on the car. So any company that wants to put their logos and everything on there. Sometimes I help make the logos.
Oh wow,
which is a lot of fun. I like that part. It's my favorite.
You are very creative. You did help me with a couple of things, and I do appreciate it. You did a good job. So the boss, the owner is Eric. We know Eric, but we are talking about ladies today. And Eric is awesome, but you manage. So tell me what you do in a day.
So what I do in a day is I make sure that I check, because we make stickers for people through eBay, so I make sure that those are, I make sure I check the messages, I answer all the questions, I go through the email, answer those questions, I print the stickers, put them in the cutter, and then I hand cut them out and put them in envelopes.
So you're pretty much, you do everything there. So you're the queen of Tampa Auto Wraps. You are very creative then, it seems like, and you're young. So how did you get into the creative part of designing and doing designs and stuff?
Well, I went to college. I thought I was going to be a photographer.
Oh, okay.
And I kind of switched roles, and I went to school for graphic design, and it really caught my attention because it's something that will never go away. Somebody will always need it, and it's a part where you get to put so many different designs and creativity, and I've just always loved that.
Well, you can be a part of somebody's growth.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're starting out a business, you would call them. If you have vehicles, fleet vehicles, you would call them. They would design something or take what you have and kick it up a notch, or even create it or whatever. Is that correct? Is that what you guys do?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. That's awesome. Hey, listen, if somebody wanted their vehicle wrapped, or if they wanted to talk to you about the stickers, maybe you want to put honk if you love women on the back of your car, honk, honk, honk.
Yeah.
Everybody should have one of those stickers, or whatever kind of sticker. I know, how would they get in touch with you? And
I would say the best way would be to email us at info@tampaautorwraps.com.
What's the phone number? Can they call you?
Yes, I don't remember right now.
Oh, really? Well, think about that. It happens, okay? Not a problem. And I think, do you know your website?
Yes, it's tampaautorwraps.com.
So that's what happens sometimes with it's the truth, because there's a lot of people who don't want to do phones anymore.
Right.
It's either website, it's on Facebook, and you guys do have a Facebook page, right?
Correct.
What
and
is
Instagram.
That? And Instagram.
Yeah.
So you know all of that, that's okay.
Yeah.
And Grace and Mercy, you get a pass, because really, to contact them, info@tampaautorwraps.com, and they have a website you can go to and look at some of their stuff that they do. I've seen it, it's amazing, and you're a part of that, right?
That's right, yeah.
So I hear you love Disney.
Oh, yes, very much so.
So how did that happen?
It's just always been a thing. I fell in love with the movies, and then when I was young, I got to go to Disney World, and I thought that was the most amazing place ever.
Yeah, fun to go to, release.
Yes, and it's
your
just
happy
great.
place, right?
Yes, it really is my happy place.
Yes, it is a lot of people's happy place, no matter what's going on right now outside the walls of Disney. Inside, there's a castle, rides, and some food, and you definitely can go take your kids and have a good time. But you mentioned that you went to college for, if somebody is interested, if another person is listening to this, a young woman, let's say, and she's creative and she's been dibble-dabbling or, messing around with design, What is school like for that? How many years? What do you do?
So I went to St. Pete College.
Mm-hmm.
At the time being, my very first class that I went to,
Mm-hmm.
my professor asked if how we got in here. We're all like looking around like maybe it was a joke, and he's like, no, he's like, they canceled this class.
Oh.
And so I was like, great, what am I supposed to do now?
So wait a minute. You went to class.
Very first class.
Very first class. Was it very first college class?
Yep.
Oh my goodness. And the professor was there but said, how did you get in here? We canceled the class.
They canceled the program.
Oh, the whole program.
Yeah, so
and you
they
didn't
let
get an
me-
email.
No.
That's hilarious.
Luckily, my professor was amazing.
Yes.
I can't remember his name.
That's
but
okay.
He was very important in my life because he taught me so much more. Instead of just teaching a lesson, he taught you more, which I really enjoyed. And he talked to the dean, and he's like, hey, you need to allow these people to finish the program so that they can actually get this degree, because that's not right.
So let me ask a question. I'm probably going to be going out on a limb here and getting a lot of comments about what I'm about to say, but here's the sassy part of me. Did their funding go away? Because you guys probably spent a lot of money on loans to get in there. So what the heck?
They never really said what happened. I never found out what exactly happened. I just don't know if maybe St. Pete College didn't have an interest in it anymore.
Yeah.
Or maybe they weren't making enough money off of that program.
Whatever.
I'm not really sure. Nobody really knows.
But did you get to get your education? Because you didn't let that stop you, right?
No, I refused.
So you're young and you're married. You got married. How long have you been married?
Almost, it feels like forever.
Oh my Lord.
Almost 10 years now.
10 years. That is a long time
Yeah.
for a girl. You're beautiful and
Well,
young.
thank you.
If you don't mind, are we allowed to ask your age? How old are you?
Yeah, I will be 33 in August.
Oh wow, 33. And I don't mind saying, I think I'm like 53, 54. You're only as young as you feel. I'm not old. I'm just now getting
Yeah.
started, people.
Yeah.
Y'all better watch out. But no, so how many children do you have?
I have two. My son is the oldest. He is 9.
Mm-hmm.
And my daughter, she is 8.
Now we're going to get into a subject here that's very, I have a cousin who has children who are dealing with autism, and this is a very important topic, and so we're here to educate. She does have a son that has autism. Tell me how you found that out. How did you find out that he was autistic?
Actually, it was a very rough process,
Mm-hmm.
and it was very much of a struggle. So at the time being, we lived in Tennessee, and the doctor, when you go see the doctor and
Mhm.
they check on your child and they're like, oh, how many words are they saying? And I'm
Yeah.
like,
None.
none. Or like 3 words, mom, dad, that's it. Or
Mm.
no.
Now, how old was he at this time?
He was about 2.
Okay.
And
And they're chatty at 2.
mm-hmm.
We know.
So Leo being my first child, I didn't know.
Right.
They don't give you a handbook. They give you books, but there's so much the books can tell
Well,
you.
and that's okay. That's why you have the
Yeah.
doctor, and the doctor's there to go with the progress of growth.
Mhm.
So go ahead.
So he told me, he sat me aside. He's like, I don't want to worry you, but
Mhm.
he's supposed to be saying at least 25 words already. He's like, you should probably see, your doctor and get a referral to see a physician to see if maybe he's on the spectrum. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? What's spectrum? What is?
Yeah,
It was
you
so
didn't know
confusing.
anything.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've heard of it, and never really looked into it. And then we moved back to Florida,
Mhm.
and at first the doctor thought I was crazy and told me that no, he's fine. He's just, it's just him being him. And I was like, no, I feel like something is not right,
Mhm.
and I need to follow my instinct. And I just kept pushing for, hey, like, something's not right. Please, I just want answers. I want the best way. I just want to figure it out so I can best help him.
Right, and you knew that you knew in your mother's heart and stomach that something was not right,
Right. So,
and you kept on and you were tenacious. So tell us then, So finally, the doctor obviously listened to you. Did he?
Yes, finally.
Thank God. You know, they act like moms and dads don't know about how their kids are, and
right.
you know, we're the ones living with them and taking care of them.
Yeah,
so
they
once
just
you
feel
got,
like we're overreacting to a lot of stuff.
But once that main doctor said to you, "Hey, this might be an issue," that little light bulb went on in your soul. You know. So go ahead.
So he was finally diagnosed with autism on the lower end of the spectrum.
Okay.
And he was about like 4.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically told me that he wasn't going to talk.
Oh, wow.
And that he was going to need a lot of speech therapy and IB, I can't remember but it was another special therapy to help with autistic children.
Mm-hmm.
To find a way for them to communicate. So I took it upon myself to be like, okay, well, I don't accept that answer.
Hey, that's awesome. So you did not accept the fact that they said he's never going to talk.
Right.
That's, yeah. If you're out there and you're getting these things from them, and they're smart. Doctors are here. God put them here for us, for healing and so on and so forth. But don't give up. Don't give up on your children. Don't just listen to one doctor. So
right.
I'm so excited to hear your journey. Go ahead.
So I actually reached out to close of my friends and my family, and I said, hey, this is what's going on. I need help. I want you guys. I actually made this. I asked my family and my friends to send me a video of them saying a word, any word, didn't matter, small, large, did not matter, and I said, I just want you to send it to me so I can show Leo what it looks like to say that word. And we did it for, I don't know how long. It's, from the point where we lived in Tennessee to till we moved back to Florida, and we just kept practicing, and I got him into speech therapy before he was accepted into school, and he talks now, and
that's so awesome.
he is, he still struggles with holding a conversation with another person, but he really just loves people. He really loves people, but he just lacks the communication skills to hold a conversation.
And you're still working with Leo, and you're still helping him, and there's still hope, and I believe he'll be able to have a conversation one day, and you won't get him to be quiet, and he'll continue to talk and continue to grow in that.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of things. I mean, does medication help autism at all? Are there actual therapy to maybe restructure the brain at all? I mean, you're educating us. I know that there's some people in my family. I have a friend who has a child who's on the spectrum, but sometimes when they're not your children, you're not really, you love them, but you're not in that daily struggle. You're not in that on that daily journey together.
Right.
So
it's entirely different for, I want to say, every child or every person that is on the spectrum. So the main things with Leo is he has a schedule and he has a routine, and if we break routine or break schedule, then we kind of have an episode of him freaking out. And so he knows 5 o'clock we're either making dinner or dinner is going to be at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And if we somehow mix up that schedule, it's very hard to calm him down and reassure him it's okay, it's gonna be 5 more minutes, or hey, we had to do this, so now it's holding this back. But I actually got him his own calendar, and it came with a chore chart, and so now he knows what month it is, what day it is, and it came with little events, so he knows this is when we're going to go see Grandma and Grandpa, or this is when we're gonna try and go to the movies. I do think each parent's journey is definitely different, because like you said, it's a spectrum. So you could be at the very bottom, middle, top, or somewhere in between. So what might work for you, as much information as you can provide in tips, it is different for everybody. And so I applaud you. You're a good, but how does that
in your marriage, how has that affected you as a couple in terms of, spending time together and being able to have an actual, date night here and there?
Yeah.
Or how do you have the support of your family that way? I mean, it sounds to me like you moved from Tennessee to here. Do you have family here?
Yes, a
that's
majority of my
awesome.
family lives in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have the support of my family, but not as, I don't want to say as much, but so like before everything, I worked at Starbucks and I
you're
worked
giving
the
people
morning
coffee.
shift. Yes, I worked the very early morning shift so that my husband could take the kids to school, and then I would get off and I would pick them up from school. So basically we, made sure we made our schedules coincide with their school schedule.
So it's cohesive, yeah. And he goes to school, so how's he treated at school, if you don't mind me asking? Does he get bullied? Does he have a little group of friends that love on him?
Right. So we started in public school, and for some reason, because we live in Brooksville, and the teacher that he was in just didn't understand how to deal with autism or how to deal with that in the classroom, because he does not know how to focus for very long. So it's kind of like ADHD coincides with autism, and so it was a struggle, and I took the liberty of like, okay, well, let's find a different school because they don't have the necessary ability to help him move on. So I put him in a private school where he is now, and he's doing a lot better.
Yeah, sometimes you have to be the advocate for your child. I mean, public school is there, but they're not the all catch-all be-all. I mean, let's face it, these teachers are awesome. They're amazing. They work really hard. And some of them just don't have the knowledge. And there are some teachers who do. And so the fact that you took the bull by the horns, so to speak, and did some research and got him in and he's doing well, that's wonderful.
Yes. His favorite class is art. And his art teacher loves him to death, and she is amazing, and I love her. And
he has a little bit of mommy in him. Some creativity,
yes.
huh?
He actually makes really beautiful pictures, and I think I'm just taken back because it's like, it just reminds me of like where we started, and they told me that he wouldn't communicate and he wouldn't do these things to bond with people, and here he is. He made a picture of the Epcot ball at Disney. So, and it just takes me back because it's like, wow, this is amazing for him to do that.
Well, and I think that's his way of communicating too, the Epcot ball. I mean, you said that's the happiest place on earth that you like to be, and he recognizes that, and he is drawing that, and that's his way of telling you he's happy, and that is a good place for him to be as well. Is there any kind of legislation or government that's helping, like, obviously, my understanding is there's a lot of children that are autistic and it doesn't get caught because it is such a on the low of the spectrum, but if they just had that little bit of help, they could get to the next, step, so to speak. So do you know anything about the laws or anybody doing anything to help in the school system with autistic children?
So we lived in Tampa when we first moved back to Florida and stayed with my dad, and I want to say that the Tampa, Hillsborough County, I felt like they were more hands-on. They knew what to do. So I would say the best thing is getting a IEP. It's like an educational.
A lot of kids have them at a certain age.
Yeah, exactly. And that way it will help and it get you moving forward to the right direction that you need to go to either get a diagnosis or to get them in the right classroom or the right setting to get them more situated.
I gotcha. No, you have to be an advocate for your child. And so sometimes, like you said, you have to figure out, okay, where are we going to live, because you want there to be success, and not all counties are the same with education. Not all schools are the same. So the fact that you are doing that for your son, and there's some people who, just by their circumstances, they're where they're at, and that's where they're at. So there has to be some community things that people can do with their children.
Right, yeah.
Is there any community things that you take him to? Like, is he want to play ball, or does he even know about the sporting options that are a possibility, or it's not something he's ready for yet?
Not that I'm aware of.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't really showed any interest in like that sort of thing.
Right.
But we do, their school actually offers once a week, it's like after school,
Mm-hmm.
and they can do cooking or art or dance, and so he actually likes art and he likes cooking.
Gotcha.
So it's something like, kind of like a club
Yeah.
that he goes to.
And he's interested in it.
Yeah, and it's more, for me, the most important thing was interaction
Mm-hmm.
with other people besides, his younger sister.
Right.
And it's always been my main focus, is I want him to be around people so that he can understand and interact with other people.
Yeah.
So,
You mentioned his sister. What's her name?
Lucy.
I love Lucy. Did you get that?
Yes. I Love Lucy Marathon was going on when I was going into labor.
I'm telling you what, and that's why did you name her Lucy because of the marathon, or you just was like,
Well,
Lucy?
we had
Mhm.
it as a name. It was either Lucy or Lily, and
okay.
It just kind of set it in stone because they put me in the room, and it's like, oh, I have Lucy Marathon, and I was like, oh, this is a sign.
So with Lucy though, let's talk about that for a minute. I mean, obviously there is the need to have a little bit more special attention with Leo.
Mhm.
How does that affect Lucy? Do you have ways of making her feel special? Because, I can see where some children might not understand,
Mhm.
that the attention, like they understand that that's their brother, but mom and dad are paying a lot of attention and making sure, and there's nothing wrong with that, but
Right.
how does that affect Lucy? What do you do for her?
So Lucy, we call her the little mom.
Okay, so she's
Because-
taken on that role then.
Yes, she is very, I want to say, protective of Leo, and it's almost like, she's the oldest and he's the youngest.
Mhm.
So not that I've seen, I don't think that it affects her. I try my very hardest to make sure that, if I see that she feels that way, it's
Mhm.
like, hey, are you okay? Like, how are you feeling? Like, did something bother you? Please tell me. So, Leo and me have our own stuff that we do, and then I
Mhm.
also have stuff that just me and Lucy do.
Oh, that's good.
So,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think even in just a normal family, when you have children and siblings, my dad used to, even my mom, we would go have like a mom day, we'd go get a sub or
Right,
do
yeah.
something,
Mhm.
while my other sisters were doing something with my dad, and it was just me and my mom, or, of course, I know this episode really isn't about me, but it is in a way, actually. But to be honest, I didn't want to be outside. I was not a sports person. I hated being outside because of the heat.
Mhm.
And we lived in South Florida for a long time, and it was hot, let me tell you. My sister loved being outside, and so did my other siblings. And I tell you what, I look back and I feel bad for my mom, because she used to say, just go do something,
Right.
be active. And now I'm kind of thinking, it probably should have been, because, I have some, I don't like to exercise. I don't like to sweat.
Well, you
And,
both.
but you do. You need to do both. And you've
Yeah.
got a great body going on
Oh,
here.
stop.
And, but, no, so yeah, I think it's very good, even in a household where there is no medical issues, that you spend that quality time with one or the other child, and make sure that they feel special with your time.
Right.
So I think that you and your husband have done a magnificent job. I mean, I know you obviously personally. I have met your two beautiful children, Leo and Lucy, and they know how to network. She's brought them to networking things. And you know what, I have to say that you doing that teaches them that, you're working, and you're not letting this diagnosis rule your life.
Mhm.
You're ruling it. You're telling it what it's going to do, and I think that's
Exactly.
wonderful. You never answered me about date night.
Oh.
You?
So we try our hardest to have date night. My dad does help sometimes when he can, and like he'll take them for
Yeah.
the weekend, which is always great. But honestly, my favorite nights are when we put them to bed at
Mhm.
like 7:30, and we just get to like sit on the couch or sit in bed, and we like catch up on our favorite shows and movies, you know, and it's my favorite time because, you know, we don't need, it would be nice to go out, but we don't need to go out, you know. It's kind of like, what's that old saying, like, home is where the heart is, you know?
I
so
agree.
It's like, no matter where I am with him, as long as he's with me and we're sharing, you know, each other's company, it doesn't matter what we're doing.
And you know, I feel like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I might not be wrong, I don't think I am, but we'll say for the sake of argument that I'm correct. I do believe that God lines us up with the people that he wants us to be with as our spouse, and that's why it's so important, young ladies out there, to pray for your knight in shining armor. Let the Lord lead and guide you to the person that the Lord wants you with, because then when those storms come, you're with the right person, and you're not, you know, it's not going to be 100% all the time, but your love story shines through with your smile and in your eyes. And I just think that's wonderful, and it's a great testament to say we don't have to go spend money, we don't have to go to a restaurant, we can just enjoy each other's time. In time, you can't buy time.
Right.
You cannot buy time. Time is afforded by our Lord and Savior, and he's a giver of life, and he gave you your baby. He gave you Leo and Lucy, and he knew you as a cohesive family, and he saw it and said, I've got a plan for their life, so that you can you know, be an advocate at maybe one day, once you get past a certain raising him and he's doing great and he goes to college. You know, they said that I have a daughter, and they told me, because she had some learning, you know, kids learn differently, they don't all learn the same, that she would never be able to go to college, and she would never be able to do this. And she asked me after the meeting, you know, Mom, am I stupid? Oh. And I said, no, in fact, you're exactly the opposite. You are brilliant, and you never forget that. You remember that you're brilliant, and what they say that you can or cannot do is not what God says you can or cannot do. So I basically nipped that in the bud right away, because you have to do that with your children, because sometimes adults, they mean well, they don't know that, you know, they're giving you that report, but we believe the report of the Lord, and that is that they're going to prosper, and he's going to do they're going to do exceedingly and above all that God ever, you know, just wonderful. And so I love your story, I love your journey, and thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Do you have any tips for your car? Like, my understanding is you never use a magnet on a car. Are you guys using a magnet?
Don't use the magnets. All my Disney magnets that I get, they go on my fridge. I know my husband does not like it, but they're all over my fridge.
Oh my God, I have a magnet fridge too. I have magnets all over the side of my fridge. I have, like, my mother-in-law had a bunch of magnets, and those immediately came to me. So I love it. So that's the tip of the day from Amanda Sage from Tampa Auto Wraps, and a beautiful family that she has. We're praying for you. If you have an autistic child, it is God gave them to you because he knew you could take care of them. He knew you would advocate for them. So just make sure you reach out. Is there a particular place that they can call? Is there some type of an awareness number that they could call if they're just now experiencing what you might have experienced, just finding out?
Honestly, what helped me the most was the USF campus.
Oh, okay.
You can call them anytime, and I'm a question person. I like to know how things work. So I'm constantly asking questions.
So am I. My kids don't like that. Especially my 19-year-old son. He's like, Mom, enough questions already, but
yes, so
but I'm still going to ask them.
Yeah, and I believe that Leo's gotten into questions now, and I was like, well, you know, it's to that point where it gets annoying, but I love it because I feel like he's just learning so much more. But yes, the USF campus over there, they definitely know and can help if they have any questions or concerns. They can point you in the right direction.
USF right here in Tampa, Florida, people. Right here in Tampa, Florida. So, listen, I love you, Amanda. You're awesome, and you're a family. And we love you guys out there. Thank you for joining us today at Classy and Sassy, where we celebrate women one conversation at a time, regardless of any of our differences. We love you, and so does the Lord. So have a great and wonderful, blessing-filled day. Thank you.